Here's Johnny. Thank you, Ed. As you all know, my social media family, many subscribers and our visitors alike to that being my own YouTube social media channel and our chat room or comment section, well, whatever I've said. I had given you all an opening of an icebreaker to the present social media content of a broadcast video, as it was that being some of such, whereas I had hummed one of these here vintage classic pop culture song numbers, and no offense or disrespect is meant to any victims. You know, when I had hummed that for the present social media content of a broadcast video, I assure one and all, no offense or disrespect meant not in the least. Then how are you all doing? Hopefully everyone is doing at least okay, if not better yet to be said, to be doing, likewise feeling all right, or if not, best of all, to be said, to be feeling less than stress, you and yours, your family and friends, and hopefully me and mine, likewise. Yes, hopefully everybody is at least is doing as well as feeling okay. Yeah. And moving right along. And I apologize. Yes, I'm sorry for seeming like I'm having quite a bit of a compulsive disorder of a physical nature. But then the weather temps is really some of such record breaking ones that could be put in the chronicle history of the elements, or as I had heard it, that this July is supposed to be one of the likes, and not that that particular subject matter is supposed to be the social media content of the present broadcast video. And moving right on, now that I've gotten the preliminaries out the way, or have taken care of that being the basic intro as an introduction, and our footnotes for that matter. So let's just cut to chase. Pardon the pun, none was intended or had not been meant, and most certainly, definitely not any, that is, how should I put it? Not any or none disrespect was meant in due regard in reference to that last mention to be directed at any persons, being of whom would be the content of this present social media broadcast of a video. So far as any past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims. And so let's just dive into it. Again, I say none or no disregard or disrespect meant to the same or the said in question of the former prior mention, or the last minute. Anyway, though, as you all know, that most recently, if you have been tuning in or keeping in touch with current events, or as some of us would be much more familiar with being commonly called and are known as, news stories that, you know, one of the likes of the rank and file, you know, being of whom is to be possibly considered, hold that thought, you know, can I still drink this? I'm wondering. Hopefully, no neighbors from damn hell characters have slipped something in it without my knowledge, as well as without my permission or without my consent, because I drank some of it last night and put the rest in the fridge. Guess I'm going to chance it. Otherwise, I could toss it all the same, because sometimes I do just go ahead and toss it. That's right and drink. With the worse neighborhood that I'm living in now, and therefore I have worse neighbors from down hell characters. Anyway, though, getting back to some of such up, hopefully I won't have to go to a hospital behind this. Then I thought that much earlier I had swallowed something as in a food item product of substance without chewing it up properly or thoroughly. Thought I had swallowed it the wrong way, and that same time I thought this way. But anyway, as I think of it with that in my mind's attention, to try to backtrack here with reasonable purpose being north side going to following to continue from where and when that my person at last left off, so I can finish up as a complete form of creative pride. I thought in that same similar soul sense of the word, in due regard in reference to that being the current events or the latest news headline story. Whereas one of the likes certain characters of the rank and file of the criminal elements of society for any given country or nation, being of which is associated with and are representing the global community for this post 911 era of our new millennium of apocalyptic day and age, and where the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight. The doomsday clock, the military arsenals, the much more recognized superpowers and the not so familiar ones, Yes, and where the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight compared on how far prior to that was at a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. Whereas a certain male character of the likes then of whom are the rank and file of the criminal elements of riffraff, or the much more familiar and not so known usual suspects and our public enemy number ones, and the lowest of the low-life scumbags or riffraff or criminals committing civil and human rights violation offenses against their fellow American citizens and our foreigners alike, for not only within the continental United States of America, for our own supposed so-called democratic republic or democracy, whereas certain police officers, not that all cops are bad, continue to put a bad stain on that badge and uniform. Not that this is supposed to be the content of today's, or should I say tonight's, social media broadcast or video, because now it is the afternoon compared to in the morning, and it's coming up on the evening. And anyway, though, and then elsewhere, for other countries or nations, either to be compared onto our own democratic republic or democracy, or to be the total opposite of dictatorships, I mean, to look like a gangster, especially the likes of the false prophet and Antichrist, uh, the prosperity preacher televangelists fleecing the flock otherwise in their own right. Getting back to some such of the much more familiar sort or type of predators, you know, but it's bad enough to have to think that some of the likes of those others are the much more familiar sexual predators of animal monsters, the rapists and pedophiles. And whereas this one in particular, right here within city limits for where I'm at, for our great metropolis, you know, for our own democratic political democracy within the Western Hemisphere, that is a part of the global community of countries or nations for this post 911 era and this post global pandemic day and age of this apocalyptic one, and whereas the doomsday clock is now at a couple of few minutes to midnight compared to how foreign people factored in was a quarter midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. Whereas this one male character of overgrown perv of a grown adult man had took it upon himself to get a freebie from one representing the opposite sex in the 5 feet line of a born and raised female person, of a grown adult woman, you know, while she herself was supposed to be trying to think to get on elsewhere after she herself had likewise was trying to become a part of the ridership of a mass transit, of a public transportation system with all of its many bus and train routes, and where she herself was supposed to be waiting, you know, for a bus for a given route at a stop where she was approached by this overgrown perv of a male, of a grown adult man wearing dreadlocks, as I do recall or recollect, if I do remember correctly, and where he himself was supposed to be one of these ethnic minority male individual persons. Was he black or Hispanic? And was the victim black or Hispanic? Well, I have really no idea. Or no. Well, I know the male perp could have possibly been black because I don't know much of any Hispanic males who wear dreadlocks, you know, and what race the female of the victim, being of a grown adult woman, was, who can say? But then I would think when I get to think about west side of Chicago, Illinois, USA, well, I would more think in regard or in reference to, you know, persons of the ethnic minorities of the different ones being you know, more like blacks than Hispanics, or who can say. But anyway, this overgrown perv of a male, of a grown adult man, had approached this one, you know, black and brown sister, black and Hispanic sister, or whatever I would say, as she was waiting at a bus stop. And he come at her in not just the much more, but the most effective way that any, you know, male perv of the likes of the rank and file of the lowest of scumbags, slime buckets, you know, social reject, freaking idiot, sicko losers, whereas he came at her from behind, grabbed her, took her somewhere, and then got jiggy with it. Like, no disregard or disrespect meant against the female sexual assault victim or female rape victim or female molestation victim for that matter. Like, Like, what's new, pussycat, for real, Then, not that I was making fun of the female sexual assault and female rape victim, but if anything, I make fun of the male perp who would dare so much as to, you know, assault or attack a woman or a child because one is a coward. He wouldn't bring that to another grown adult male of a man like so, because he would fear that he would get his ass kicked and stomped the damn hell out of him, and maybe pushing up daisies for that matter. And then from there, go to meet his maker, the devil, with his demon possessed self. And so this male perp, he had grabbed this female from behind and got juggy with it. Got busy, like all up in there. Getting his his jolly, his rocks off. I can only imagine how she could have been pleading with him for mercy. Please, sir, please don't do this to me. Please. I'm not only a wife for a family household, but I'm also a mother, a mom. Here, you want money? I have money, but please don't violate my person. Please don't do this to me. Please, I beg of you. Please, for the love of God, don't do this. But you know how it is. I mean, that pleas for mercy would fall upon some of such deaf ears, then because the average, well, that could possibly would probably be an understatement, or not the half of it. But the average male perv of an overgrown adult man who is only thinking with his dick head, whereas his brains went out to lunch, breakfast, and dinner for that matter. He is not listening to anything that a woman or a child of a girl or boy, for that matter, even so, could possibly say to try to stop him from getting jiggy with it, from getting his jollies or getting his rocks off. Because all he wants to do is to make his sexual assault victim or rape victim an offer that one can't refuse. And so he'd be like, freebies, 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 free peanut butter box, or free pearly gates juice to mix with my dick juice. This is good. There's nothing sweeter like getting freebies. Yeah, but then very few, if any of them, would think about the serious consequences with transforming those mental thoughts into physical actions against their scope, stalk, and then sexual assault victims or rape victims. I mean, well, I could be wrong, but the average or the majority of most rapists and pedophiles, they just don't really have a plan, or a program. Because, I mean, like I said before, so I say again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the average or the majority of most sexual assaults or rapes are unplanned. You know, I mean, the likes of the average, the majority of most rapists, worse yet, pedophiles, they just do some of such, commit hate crimes or sexual assault or rape against their victims, their woman or child sexual assault victims or rape victims in the spur of the moment. They seize the opportunity that's given to them, as someone says, give them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that all rapists and pedophiles are like that, but I would think that the majority of most, they don't have a plan. I'm sure that others would agree with me compared to how there are still others that would tend to differ, other persons. Likewise, of law-abiding American citizens and foreigners, the average rapist and pedophile, the average male sexual predator and animal monster, or most of them, are the likes of the lowest of scumbags or riffraff, of social rejects, of criminal elements of any given society or country or nation. Do not have a plan when they go scoping and stalking their sexual assault victims or rape victims. They just see an opportunity and they go for it. They're like I said before, so I say again, no offense meant to be directed at any past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims. Hopefully there won't be any, future sexual assault victims or rape victims anytime too soon enough again in the near future, as well as there has been at the present and in the past. But the average one of those dickheads, their brains go out to lunch, when it comes to the likes of male rapists and male pedophiles. And there are many more of them than of their female rival counterparts. I mean, their brains just go out to lunch once they see somebody they like, of another human. It's like they get to thinking with the dickheads. They feel the feeling down there. And oh, oh, you hungry again? I hear you. Well, let's go get you fed. I got the feeling. Bum, bum. Uh, uh, excuse me, miss. I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm wondering if you could help me out, if you please. What is it, sir? Where are you trying to get to? I can't remember the exact address. That's why I'm asking you for directions now as to how to get there. I mean, I'm thinking there are some streets that it's supposed to be connected with, whereas I can't remember the exact address, but if I can remember the streets, where I have, some thought as to what streets it could be connected with. Well, just give me a name of one, and then maybe we can go from there. Let me see now. Oh, here. Let me pull out this map. I think I got a map here somewhere. Wait a minute. I can't remember where I put it. Let me think. Miss. I don't mean to seem like I'm trying to disrespect your private little space area, but I was just moving closer so you could be much better able to hear me. But I think the street that I have in mind is. Again, I say, I'm sorry, but I had to laugh. Sometimes I make myself laugh. That belongs to somebody else or others. But for that last mention, it was not meant to show disregard or disrespect for any past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims. Yeah. Then I like to think that I could throw some comedy in to any alternative news broadcast of an unprofessional, unlicensed nature of social media content of a video. And no disrespect, no disregard, disrespect meant to any past, present, or future sexual assault victims, rape victims for that last mention. But, I was just giving you all a scenario of what could possibly happen. Or, you could have one of them male sexual predator animal monsters, and as I do believe that there are many more of them than their female rival counterparts. I'm sure others would agree with me compared to how there are still others that would tend to differ. But there are many different case scenarios for them to use as an icebreaker to you know drop the shield guard their proposed targets of attention, prey to become their next sexual assault victim or rape victims, next sexual assault victim or rape victim, to add another notch to their belts of conquest of sexual assault victim or rape victim or molestation victim for that matter. Women and children. Excuse me, miss, but do you have a light? I'm really feeling for some of such. I mean, I know I should have given this up a long time ago, but I got this nicotine fit. Do you have a light? I'd appreciate it. I mean, you'd be like a lifesaver. Well, let me see what I have here. If I have any lighter here somewhere. Yeah, I would really appreciate that, miss. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just not to mean to invade your private little space here, but I'm just trying to close the gap between me and you so that cause I know you got business to take care of, and I don't want to inconvenience you. So I'm just trying to speed up the process for you to give me a light so that you can be on your way as well as me. So you got that light now? Yeah, that's all I want is. Or they could be like, miss, I'm telling you what my thoughts are on that. Use it with the username or whatever I said. Miss, you know, um, I don't mean to intrude, but I'm awful hungry. If you just had $1 or two, I mean, you don't even have to have just give me a little change. I try to get some such other from somebody else all the same. If you have a little change on you, because I'm hungry, my stomach is just growling. I'd appreciate it. I just want to get me something from Mickey D's or BK, whatever. Even if it's just for me to get a bag of chips, potato chips or popcorn to you know kill the hunger because I haven't eaten in quite a while. Well, let me see what I have for you, sir. I'm sure I can manage to, scrounge up some. I may have $1 or two to give you. Oh, yeah, I would appreciate that. Oh, you're a lifesaver. You're an angel, miss. Yeah. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just trying to make it easy for both of us by 'cause not that I mean to invade your private space here, but I'm just moving closer so you can hear me, give me the change, and I'll be on my way as well as you. Yeah. Yeah, if you just have $1, and then if from there, well, if you find in your heart, like, but then I appreciate just $1 because all I want is for you to, Anyway, though, on a much more serious note, so this overgrown male perv of a character of the likes of the lowest of scumbags, slime buckets, of loser, freaking idiot, sickle jerks, and I hope that he finally do get caught by the popo, the boys in blue, the big boss man, the long arm of the law, because that could have been some anybody's mother, sister, grandma, daughter, etc. I hope he finally do get caught soon enough, then because the moral character of the lowest of scumbags or riffraff or usual suspects and public enemy number ones of the criminal elements of society of any given country or nation are on the loose the longer they are on the loose, the more they could possibly and would probably prove to be a threat to other women and children, regardless of race or walk of life. Any of the lowest of scumbags are like these kind of male characters or whatever race and walk of life themselves, I mean, imagine that. I know that once they catch him, he be thrown in the can. Of all the jailbirds that really, catch them hell in the can or in the crazy house for that matter, it's the likes of them. The low-life scumbags of the lowest of the low, of the likes of the criminal elements of riffraff, usual suspects, and public enemy number one being the male sexual predator, the animal monster, rapists and pedophiles, You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, see, you don't want to be you. Mm-mm. Anyway, though, so I just thought to bring that to you all's mind. And as I had given my own perspective or views and opinions upon one of the most recent incidents of conflict of interest involving the lowest of scumbag, the slime buckets, being of a male character of a sexual predator, animal monster, who is of the likes of rapists and pedophiles, and you all take care and be safe, be blessed, not stressed, peace and love, joy and happiness. So I say in closing, and if you have not as yet gotten Christ's salvation, then which is more important than whatever else you yourself could have possibly gotten out of this present social media broadcast of a video and please, for the love of God, get the only fire insurance against the fiery flames of the lake of fire of damn hell to be found in our Lord and Savior, the Christ, and nobody or nothing else.